Bhagavati Milandasya Galam Jalam Shalaka Shakshururitam Jena Tasmai Shivadavim Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namo Namaste Sarasvati Deve Kaurvari Pracharine Nirvashesha Sunyavadi Pracharjadishitra Vanchakalpa Tarubhya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Donc, c'est un moment très spécial.
It is a very special moment.
Yashoda veut dire celle qui répand le bonheur.
It signifies the one who spreads
Et elle est la personnification du
good fortune, and she is the personification of that.
Mais elle mérite plus particulièrement.
She deserves more particularly this name
because
she allowed to Krishna, when she attached him, her child, to have this name Damodar. The one who is bound by the rope of love. This is why she has a particular position. Neither Brahma, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says. However, Prabhupada said, he is the person that is manifested the first in the material world. But he doesn't have the power to stop the pastimes of Krishna. We're speaking about Brahma. Shiva, even more, is the best of all Vaishnavas. But he neither also. What to speak of the goddess of fortune, who is resting on the chest of the Lord, under the form of Srivatsa. Even her, she doesn't have this power. We know she accomplished austerities to be with Krishna in Rasa dance, but it was not allowed. We know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he reassured a devotee, a Brahmana, who was sad. Why does the goddess of fortune, who did so many austerities, she could not obtain Krishna? Still, she is the companion of Narayan, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to her, to his help. He says, Radharani and the goddess of fortune are the same person. Through Radharani, the goddess of fortune, taste the sweetness of Krishna. And then he was satisfied and he stopped his lamentation. Because the devotees, they have moods. A neophyte devotee cannot understand this, the moods of devotees, their words, when they hear. If they're part of their group, they're satisfied. But if they consider in their duality that this sadhu, when he speaks, is not part of their group, then they can become angry. It's a principle. So when someone tastes feelings in his heart because of love of God, then Krishna himself comes to harmonize his heart when he is confused. Because there is love. And the neophyte devotee, who does not have the shelter of the pure Vaishnava, and who is his own shelter, he doesn't have this help. And he sees the duality. He cannot understand the Vaishnavas. Then they qualify the Vaishnavas in a different way. And the one who has the experience of love of God, he stops looking at these differences. He doesn't see as a group. He doesn't belong to any group. It's finished. Because the experience that he has of Vrindavan, there's not such reality. There's only love for Krishna. So when the test of transcendence is there, when someone can have the darshan of Krishna, then it doesn't make a difference. He simply sees if someone is greedy for Krishna, no matter the tilak that he has, no matter the dress. He sees if someone has love, and he becomes attracted and he tastes. He is happy. He becomes like a bee. It is the symptom of someone who had the experience of Krishna. It is that he doesn't make any distinctions. He sees the love that a person has in his heart. However, when Parikshit Maharaj, he heard such a degree of love from Yashoda, he was completely astonished. This is why Shukadev Goswami, he narrated this story to fulfill his heart. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this. Because only the austerity, that the expansions, the partial expansion of Mother Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, who performed austerities, it was not sufficient for Parikshit Maharaj to fulfill his desire. And it had to be that Shukadev narrates the glories of Yashoda. This is the reason, one of the reasons why he narrated this pastime. It's really deep. When two Vaishnavas who are qualified are together and they speak, one speaks and another listens, it's very powerful. It's extremely powerful. Because the one who speaks, he understands that the other doesn't need to listen to be purified. But he understands that he will taste particular feelings. So both, the one who speaks and the one who listens, they're transported in love for Krishna. Krishna himself in the Gita, he glorifies these exchanges. This is why we must learn to listen. It's really important. Listening must be done with attention, with devotion. If you sleep, nothing will come true. If you think about material things, it won't work. We need to open our heart to be disposed to taste. Radharani herself, when her friends speak to her about how the cows, when Krishna plays the flute, in which way they position their ears. Radharani herself wants to become a cow, to have cups in place of ears. Great ear, big ears, ready to taste a lot of nectar. When our friends glorify the doe and the deer, how the deer is not envious when the doe is attracted by Krishna, and he follows the doe, happy that the doe is being filled with Krishna's nectar, Radharani, she desires to become a doe. This is the nature of cows. They listen and they transform. Because their listening is powerful. They desire the experience of Krishna. This is why the attitude must be positive. We must consider ourselves to be the lowest, like a person who doesn't know anything. Srila Prabhupada, he taught us this. When he was at the feet of his guru, a qualified guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, he considered himself like an idiot. When he was told to explain who was his guru, his spiritual master, he said, "What can I say about my spiritual master? He is a Vaikuntha man." He himself was a Vaikuntha man, but it is humility. There will always be people to criticize. Even Prabhupada, he was criticized by so many people. There was so much opposition. Even in those days, they made a movie on the devotees to break this movement. Can you believe it? The more there's power, the more there are attacks. Even the elder gopis, they will go to complain to Yashoda. But it was not out of envy. It is because Krishna, he came with his band of friends stealing in their houses. And Yashoda, when she will come, a lot of gopis will come and complain because Krishna goes into many houses. And they're waiting for Krishna. Sometimes they want also to catch him in his stealing. There are many stories which are retelling how Krishna, he is able to escape the capture of the gopis. Sometimes he even makes them eat the butter he eats by making them believe that this butter is really strange. And they put it on their faces, and then when the others enter, they say, look, they want butter, but they accuse me of stealing butter, but look at the butter in their face. This is Krishna. When Mother Yashoda, she hears such complaints, she laughs. She becomes filled with love. This is the sharing of Krishna. Because Krishna doesn't steal anything at her home. So, this day on Dipavali, she said to herself, even the day before, she prepared. She said, in fact, my servants, they don't know how to make preparations perfectly. That's why Krishna, he has the desire to eat somewhere else. But today, it's me who will prepare it. And she selected a very special milk. The Acharyas explain that amongst the 900,000 cows that Nanda Maharaj had, well, this is a number in Boma Vrindavan, but in Golok, it's still something else. But there were some who said 6 or 7. They say 6 or 7. Who had like a blackish ear and who ate a really sweet grass, fatty grass. Because in Braj, there are different grass with different taste. And when the cows, they taste, it gives a taste to their milk. And so she very nicely put this milk aside to make preparations of the first quality. Srila Prabhupada explains, it is difficult for us when he speaks about the worship of the deity, it should be first class. He even speaks about 3 dressing per day, 7 offerings, with the best meals, the best cooks, everything perfect, so that Krishna is satisfied. But sometimes we see in Braj beings that are very advanced spiritually that do bhajan. And in their bhajan, one can do a service that is 1,000 times greater than physically. Because the transcendental meditation, it allows to have unlimited quality and abilities that are much more developed and a feeling that is much greater than when we serve Krishna with material senses. And sometimes we see that these great bhakti yogis, they worship the deity in a very simple way. They don't even dress it to every day because they are absorbed in bhajan. So there are different conceptions. Prabhupada, he created activities to engage us because we're not able to do bhajan. But those who are able to do bhajan, then the conception is sometimes different. Krishna himself, Radharani herself, she can desire something different. Because already, first of all, we have to be really dedicated to stay in a temple where worship is such at a high level. We have to be really surrendered. We see often in those temples that there's a lot of pujaris that go through. Even people I saw, because of the austerity, that it is demanding that they reject their service. I saw a lot of this, a lot of conflicts, because we have to be qualified. If we do things with a bad consciousness, then instead of progressing, we can even fall down spiritually. It's not easy. But Mother Yashoda, her, like the most confidential, exalted person, she engaged her servants this day in different tasks. She was even thinking that she was burning the preparations. That is why Krishna was not interested to eat her sweets. Still, Krishna has great greed for Yashoda's milk. This is known, but really, it's really well known. No milk can rival with Yashoda's milk, breast milk, because Yashoda is a complete manifestation of parental affection. Certain acharyas explain that she is a manifestation of Shri Radha. When Shri Radha wants to taste, wants to give pleasure to Krishna, as a mother, she becomes Yashoda. Certain acharyas explain this. And Srila Prabhupada, he confirms that Yashoda, she is a manifestation of the power of Hladini Shakti. And we know that Hladini Shakti is Radharani. She is the personification of the Hladini Shakti. And so, Krishna was sleeping in the bed of Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda, she woke up very early. Certain say around 4:30 in the morning. Around 4:30 in the morning. Krishna was very small. And she started to put milk in a pot. To put fire under it, to be able to make yogurt, but also rabri, all kinds of sweets for Krishna. And she started to churn the yogurt. And this is a special preparation in Braj. It's like a nectar. We put the yogurt as a churning, and we pull the ropes, and it churns. And when she started to do this, she started to absorb herself in her child. And the acharyas like Srila Prabhupada explained that she was singing the glories of Krishna. In fact, her friends, or the servants, because everyone is qualified in Braj, they made songs on the glories of her child. Certain acharyas revealed. Others say that she was making the glories of her child to be composed by very exalted poets. This is also possible. And so she was chanting the glories of Krishna. And by absorbing herself, in fact, in love for Krishna, then she completely forgot herself, it is explained. When she was chanting, the churning, which is a person, churning rod, the bracelets were also persons. They were singing also. And they accompanied the voice of Yashoda, and they were creating a wonderful kirtans. So much wonderful. It is explained that Yashoda, in her work, there were drops of sweat that were flowing. They were like jewels. Like jewels. Flowers were falling down from her hair. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so Prabhupada takes the exact words. He says that the one who desires to develop this parental affection, he must meditate on this description. How Mother Yashoda was dressed, what sari she had, in which way her hair was placed, etc., etc. They take back the same words, almost. And it doesn't say it comes from Vishwanath, but he doesn't invent anything. Once, I saw a devotee become angry because the Vaishnavas, they explain But Prabhupada had books when he was doing his commentary. He was reading Vishwanath Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and he was making his commentary. And the devotee said Prabhupada doesn't need. But it is not our mood. We need everyone. Everybody. That's the mood of the Vaishnavas, humility. And this is the beauty of a Vaishnava. Sometimes Vaishnavas, they reveal things. If Radharani desires, then things can be revealed. We cannot invent what must be accomplished. And sometimes the Vaishnava, he comes simply like the Acharya, the one who shows the fact of repeating. Sometimes he reveals. Everything is possible. And Yashoda, she is absorbed. After a certain point, Krishna was captured in her. Krishna woke up and he was looking for his mother with his hands. And he started to cry, "Where's my mother? Where's my mother? I want her milk. I want her. Where's my mother? Mama, where are you?" Mother Yashoda, she was completely absorbed in an internal way. So what did Krishna do? With a lot of difficulty, still is the Supreme Lord. But this is love. Because Mother Yashoda, she controls him, then he becomes a baby without strength. He forgets his power. I cannot be the Supreme Lord because my mother controls me. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this. Krishna forgets everything about his power and his position to absorb himself in the love that he has for his devotee. It goes up to that point. He forgets everything. He even has difficulty to come down from the bed. He cries and he is tired and he sees his mother absorbed. I want her milk. I want to suck. What did he do? He took the churning, her hand. As soon as she felt her child was there, she stopped churning, and Krishna was really beautiful. The Acharyas say he had a particular beauty. Imagine ourselves, the meditation of Yashoda, the beauty of Krishna inside of her. Krishna became even more beautiful. He manifested a beauty even more wonderful. When Yashoda opened her eyes, she was astonished. She took him, she immediately understood that he wanted to take milk. This is not nature of Yashoda to give her milk, to the sucking. So she put Krishna on her lap and she gave him breast milk. And her milk was coming out like a river. There was a competition, none of them could win. The greed of Krishna, the love of Yashoda. But there was the milk. The milk is a person in Braj. The fire is a person. The pot is a person in Braj. And there is humility. Such humility. What did the milk think? What is the use of my life? How can I present myself? How can I have a competition with the milk of Mother Yashoda? I only want to die. I just want to die and disappear. I'm so much fallen. And then the milk started to overflow and fell into the flames. But Yashoda, as soon as she felt that the milk wanted to abandon his life, she let go of her own service. And Krishna, he knew everything. He felt his mother wanted to stop to give him the breast milk. He tightened, Prabhupada said he tightened himself like a monkey with his hands, with his feet, with all his strength. He is the Supreme Lord. His strength is unlimited. But still, Yashoda, since she controls him, she took him like that. She said, I would take care of the milk, you stay there. And she went towards the milk. And then she softened. She said, no, don't do this. I will engage you. I let go of my own service to engage you. She fanned. And the milk came down on him. So much mercy. This is Braj. And then Krishna, he was not happy. And he said, what is this? My mother is letting me go for the milk. I'm not satisfied with the sucking the breast, so I will take vengeance. I will break the yogurt pot. So he was intelligent. He broke the pot, and the yogurt started to flow on the ground. And what did he think? He says, "Oh, if mother sees this, she will want to punish me." And then after that, he escaped. But. Since he was absorbed in the mood of being a baby, he did not see that her two lotus feet, they were filled with yogurt, and he walked. Even if he went into another place to hide himself, he left footprints on the ground. And when Mother Yashoda, she came back and she saw the yogurt, she smiled and she said, "Oh, how much he's intelligent! I let go of him, but because he wasn't happy, he broke the pot." But then there was a few. It's not a good thing. She must think, I must educate my son. A mother must educate her son. So she took a stick. Never she did such a thing before. Never. It was not her desire to hit her son. She took that. So she followed the footprints. What was Krishna doing at this point? There was like a grinding mortar that was in the rivers. So he climbed on the mortar, he took the butter and he distributed it to the monkeys. There were no ordinary monkeys. The acharyas say that Krishna wanted to be word. The monkeys, the crows also, we helped them in his to bring him back into his Ram Lila, the pastimes of Ram Lila. This is one of the reasons why Krishna did this. The acharyas explained. But he was doing this with anxiety. And still he was looking. But when the birds and the monkeys started to escape, he was realizing that someone was giving him too much Mother Yashoda. She came with a stick, with very slow steps, without being hurt. And then we looked, he saw his mother. He jumped and he started to run like a zigzag everywhere. to escape his mother. Mother Yashoda said, I will punish you, I will punish you. And then, because she didn't have a veil in her head, and in Vedic culture, Our Lady never shows herself before her husband what to speak of her veil. And he thought, if I go in the courtyard, she will not follow me. And he left into the courtyard. And Mother Yashoda, she hesitated. And she said, he is my child, I must give him a lesson. And she came out. And finally Krishna, he was running like a zigzag. And Yashoda, the Acharyas say that she had large hips and a protuberant breast. And naturally it was difficult to catch a small child who ran in every direction. But she was determined. And how Krishna was able to be caught? She captured his feet in her mind. And then she wanted to take his hand, the right hand, with her left hand. And she took the stick to chastise him. Oh, thief! There are no thieves in my dynasty. And Krishna was arguing. And finally, in front of the assistance of his mother, then he started to cry. And from his hand he was rubbing his eyes, and the kajal was coloring his wonderful face, and he even had the hiccup. So Mother Yashoda, what did she say? She thought to herself, she has to throw the stick first of all. It is scaring Krishna so much. Krishna, fear personified, death personified, does not approach Krishna. Everyone fears the Supreme Lord. But the Lord, when he is dominated by love, he is afraid of the stick of his mother. So when she understood that the stick was the cause of the thing that was agitating her child, she threw away the stick. But she thought to herself, he's so frightened. He's lost. He could do whatever. I need to attach him. To be certain that it doesn't go in the forest to be devoured by tigers, wild animals. But at the same time, she wanted to punish him. And also the martyr, she considered that the martyr was his accomplice. Both of you, I will attach you. Today, you will not be able to play. But nobody can stop Krishna's pastimes. Nobody would have ever done this. Krishna has a schedule. He has friends. He has cows. But at this age, no. But he must play. All these other mothers, he must also steal from them. There's a whole planning for everybody. Everybody needs Krishna. Yashoda says, it's finished. Finished. I will attach you. You won't be able today to play. Can you believe it? How is that possible? Krishna did not put that into account. And Mother Yashoda, she wanted to attach Krishna with the thread that was attaching her hair. Krishna was very small. It is explained like that. There's a version like this, and there's another version with the first rope. You can accept the one you prefer. But when she wanted to attach this first rope, the length of 2 fingers were lacking. It was astonishing why she wanted to do that. In reality, another day, Mother Yashoda, when Balaram told her, Meya, you don't know that Kanna, he ate dirt. He ate dirt. And Yashoda, she said, why do you eat the earth? You can come eat at home, we have food, you will fall sick. And Krishna says, Mother, that's false. It's just, he says that to punish me. You can look in my mouth, I'm not eating any dirt. Okay, open your mouth. And then she saw the whole universe in Krishna. And still it's nothing that Krishna manifests, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in 2 million universes. 2 millions, how do you want to attach him with a little rope? I bet he holds millions of universes. It's not possible. And 2 fingers were lacking. So she asked for another rope. And her friends were looking because it was something unique that she's running after Krishna, that she wants to attach Krishna. And they brought ropes and ropes, and still 2 fingers were lacking. And then they started to laugh. They said, oh, today Yashoda, you cannot attach Krishna. Look, he is like protected. It's not possible. Renounce. You should renounce. And then they were clapping their fingers, they were singing. And Maya Yashoda said, no, he's my child. I will attach him. And then she took shelter completely in the Lord and she said, Lord, help me. And then at this point it is explained that Krishna, by seeing the effort of his mother, he decided to let himself be bound. And then certain acharyas say that only this rope that was, with only this rope that was tying her hair, it would have been sufficient. And then Krishna was attached. So this pastime, it has an esoteric situation. Why 2 fingers? Sanatana Goswami explains the reason. First of all, we need to have the desire for Krishna. If Krishna doesn't want to give himself to you, it will not happen. You cannot force Krishna. And second, we need to make an effort, a constant effort, with love, without desiring for anything. Neither liberation, neither material desires, but we simply want to satisfy Krishna. When we desire simply the happiness of Krishna, to give ourselves to sacrifice our life for Him, then at some point Krishna accepts to give Himself to His devotee. This is why the position of Mother Yashoda is inconceivable. Nobody ever stopped the pastimes of the Lord. And the worst is that at this point, Yashoda, when she left, and she left Krishna alone, his friends came. And they said, oh, we have to play? What are you doing? My mother bound me. How is that? It will detach you? They were not able to. They were not able to unknot the knot. None of them. Why? Because the parental affection is more elevated than from fraternal affection. That's the reason why they were not able. So what did Krishna remember? That Narada Muni, his devotee, he had cursed the two sons of Kuvera, who was inebriated, and they were enjoying with nymphs. When the nymphs, they saw Narada Muni, they escaped and they covered themselves, but they stayed naked. He said, your condition is so much in ignorance. So, you will become trees, and you will be delivered by the Lord. So Krishna remembered, I must accomplish the word of my devotee, because the word of my devotee is true, and I must do it. But this will be another episode. Jai.